the common constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
So now the EPA has set its sights on trucking. Seems like for the longest time, the rather large boot of the EPA has kind of been firmly placed on the neck of us driving public through a variety of myriad of regulations and those idiotic cafe standards. Who was that? Was that the Nixon people who introduced cafe standards? What a load of crap. It seems like for the longest time, maybe it hasn't gotten any press, but it seems like for the longest time the trucking industry has kind of been left alone by the EPA. They've had bigger fish to fry, so to speak. But now that they've fried all our butts, it's time to turn their sights on trucking, so to speak. And so, lucky you, the EPA truckers have not forgotten about you. Now they're setting your sights squarely on your windshield. Fox News recently reported that the Obama administration on Friday proposed tougher fuel efficiency standard for medium and heavy-duty trucks, the latest move by President Obama in his second-term drive to reduce pollution blamed for global warming. Oy. The key phrase here is what did they say here? The latest move in his second term. Second term. That's the key phrase here, because all the shackles have come off. Pardon the turn of phrase of Obama, but he's got nothing to fear. Not even fear itself. He's going to do whatever it takes to ruin this economy, to ruin America. I don't know what his beef is other than he's a radical anti-colonialist Marxist. Other than that, I'm sure he's got no beef with the United States. But he is bound and determined to put his footprint on this country. And boy, I'll tell you, so far he's done one whale of a job. At any rate, Transportation Secretary, Fox News, reported, the Transportation Secretary Anthony Fox said the new rules would help the environment, oh yay, and the economy, oh sure, as trucks use less fuel and shipping costs go down. Anybody actually believe that? Does anybody actually believe that shipping costs are going to go down? No cost ever goes down. At least when the government is involved, no cost ever goes down. Period. The costs are going to skyrocket. So however much you're spending on food and supplies and everything else that's being run by truck, beware, it's going up. Plain and simple. That's all that's going to happen. Gina McCarthy, the chief Marxist at the EPA, said that the new regulations will deliver big time. Ho ho, that's really ominous. On Obama's call to cut carbon pollution. Yay. She says with emissions reductions weighing in at about 1 billion tons, this proposal will save consumers, businesses, and truck owners money. Again, lie, lie, and lie. It's a load of crap. They got to know this. They don't care. They're just so out of touch. They're not out of touch. They just don't care. This is their mission. This is the EPA's mission. And here's the crux of this thing. Fox News reports that medium and heavy-duty vehicles account for about 20% of greenhouse gas emissions, and oil use in the United States transportation sector, but comprise only 5% of the vehicles on the road. In other words, it's just not fair. It's like America. We're only X percentage of the world population, but we use 8 gazillion times more than everybody else. It's just not fair. So the big bad trucks on the road, they're only 5%, 5% of the vehicles on the road, and it's just not fair that they emit so much pollution and they waste so much gas and blah, blah, blah. It's just not frickin' fair. Fox reports that the rule comes amid a flurry of recent actions by Obama on the environment, including a new federal rule regulating small streams and wetlands and mud puddles on the side of the road, and a separate rule to restrict greenhouse gases from airplanes that they probably want to install a windmill on top of every airplane and say, okay, take off. So then naturally Fox goes and looks for the representative for the trucking industry, and it's the Trucking Industry Association is the American Trucking Association, and their president and CEO is Bill Graves. Well, old Bill, towing the line, kowtowing to the Obama administration, whether he believes it or not, I don't know. He says that fuel is an enormous expense for our industry. Okay, that's way to go, Captain Obvious. And carbon emissions carry an enormous cost for our planet. Oh, brother. I don't know if does he believe this crap? Did he buy into this global warming nonsense, or is this what his handlers or advisors say? You got to say this crap, because otherwise the Obamas are going to string you up in the town square or something. So rather than fight this thing for the good of the truckers, he's just going to give in and, well, bend over, so to speak. However, another organization, the Owner-Operator Independent Drivers Association of Grain Valley, Missouri, that's a mouthful, which counts for about 150,000 members, said it was concerned that the rules would, quote, push truckers to purchase technology that is not fully tested and may lead to costs such as increased maintenance and downtime that will eclipse potential savings estimated in the proposal. A, there will be no potential savings. B, he's dead on right. They're going to be made to upgrade their equipment, buy new equipment, increased maintenance costs, increased downtime. It's going to be a complete loss across the board. And the Obama administration probably knows this. They don't care. That's their agenda. Global warming, that's it. But naturally, there's two sides to every coin. There's the evil trucking companies, and then there is the Union of Concerned Scientists. Geez, I wonder where they come down on this. I don't know, but I bet they're concerned. At any rate, the Union of Concerned Scientists, Dave Cook, he's an analyst for the UCS, said that today's proposed standards are a step in the right direction and would save the trucking industry billions of dollars in fuel savings, which can be passed down to consumers. Well, they know this is well, I don't know what they know. All I know is that it's a damn lie is what it is. Excuse my French, but it just is. And again, you've got to listen carefully to how these leftists speak. What most people heard, because they don't pay close attention to these leftists and every single word that they parse, most people heard that Dave Cook, vehicle analyst for the Union of Concerned Scientists, said that this is a good idea and he's all for it. But what he said was that today's proposed standards are a step in the right direction, which means that by no means are they finished with the truckers. This is just the first step in ruining the trucking industry. And you've got to know that that's what it's all about. Just like ruining coal plants, just like ruining oil refineries, just like the cars, cafe standards, now trucking. Everything that has to do with dirty energy must be gotten rid of. There isn't a single thing that government has ever been involved in that has ever saved anyone any money. And this is going to be the same. More regulations will always equal higher costs. Businesses have to comply with the regulations. And then, of course, there'll be the typical thing that you heard with the cafe standards, where the cars are being made with saran wrap and duct tape now because they can't afford anything any heavier than that to get their 1,000 miles a gallon or something like that from a Cadillac. it's going to be gas taxes go into the revenue stream for fixing highways and stuff for the highway funds nationally. So there's a national gas tax, and that's what it's supposed to be used for. Well, when vehicles become more fuel efficient, either naturally or through government edict, they use less gas, which is great for the environment. Yay, for the environment. And they also, because they use less gas, they pay less tax. And then the government weenies whine about that they have to increase their budget because of lost tax revenue. It's a vicious circle, and these morons don't seem to get that. But at any rate, sorry truckers, your guys are going to be in the same boat as us fools driving our cars with the cafe standards. Welcome to it, gang.
You're listening to the Common Constitution Podcast. Let the truth be known.
So it's good news for all you potheads out there. Evidently, according to scientists' latest results, cannabis, won't harm your health. According to scientists, cannabis users are unlikely to suffer health effects from small doses. These scientists say that while the only way to avoid all harm is to not use drugs, okay, leading drug experts have launched an app in a bid to reduce harm in those who indulge in illegal substances. An app? Really? A stoner app. That's just terrific. Anyway, the app advises cannabis users about how to reduce their risk of ill health by quizzing them on the quantity and frequency they use the drug. A Dr. Adam Winscott, he's a lecturer at King's College in London, states categorically that the only way to avoid all harm from drug use is not to use them whatsoever. However, it's not a very practical goal for people who like to indulge in drugs. Yes, absolutely. That's wow, brilliant, doctor. I must concur with your results by saying that people who like to indulge in drugs, telling them not to use them whatsoever is probably impractical. You're absolutely right there, Doc. Way to go, buddy. But the doc also says that the reality is that the risks of experiencing harm from using drugs can actually be massively reduced for most people with the right set of advice. We spent the past few years looking at the data from drug users around the world in an effort to settle on what advice should be. Well, I don't need a study, and I don't need years of research to tell drug users, here's your advice. Stop using drugs. There you go. Bing, bang, boom, done. So the new research by the Global Drugs Survey, didn't know there was one, but hey, whatever, found that 4 in 10 cannabis users smoked it more than 100 times a year. Okay, I don't know if that's excessive or not. I have no idea. Meanwhile, they say a staggering 1 in 20 smoked cannabis every day, putting them at very high risk of dependence. I think if you smoke every day, you're dependent upon the stuff. But you have a very high risk of dependence, withdrawal, and negative impact on interpersonal relationships, aging, and motivation, unless your sole motivation is somehow getting to 7-Eleven for that bag of cheesy Doritos. Then you're highly motivated. So remember at the beginning of this when I said that the cannabis won't harm your health as long as you stick to small doses. Do you know what the small dose is that they say it won't harm your health? It's 1 small joint a week. 1 a week. And then it won't harm your health. Well, of course it's not going to harm your health if you smoke 1 joint a week. Have they ever done, as vilified as cigarettes have become, cigars, anything tobacco has become, have they ever bothered to do a study on the ill effects of smokers if they only smoked one cigarette a week? It's ridiculous, and some government probably paid these people money to figure this out. So that's great news for all you pot smokers, that as long as you stick to one small joint a week, one small joint for mankind, everything will be hunky-dory and you'll live to a ripe old age. But if you're a chronic user, if you smoke every day, you'll be dead in a couple of years. Study doesn't say that, and I'm sure you won't, but, that's the way it goes. But it's just funny that they, all the vilification of cigarettes, as nasty as they are and whatever, still, you could do a study equally as ridiculous as that with cigarettes, and if you smoke one cigarette a week, you'll live a long and happy life. It's not going to affect you in the least. Just like if you do virtually anything or take anything once a week, it's not going to have any ill effect on your health overall. What a ridiculous study. But this is the way of the world. They are outlawing cigarettes, and they're pushing marijuana. They're pushing it hard. I don't know why they're pushing it so hard. Maybe they just want a lethargic society that'll just lay back and say, yeah, okay, man, well, whatever you government guys want, that'll be okay. Maybe that's what they want. I don't know. But at any rate, that's good news for you pot smokers. Knock it down from 10 joints a day to one a week, and you'll be good to go.
You're listening to the Common Constitution Podcast. Let the truth be known.
So the Queen arrives in Venice. No, not the Queen of England, the Queen of America, Michelle Obama, with her entourage of daughters and hanger-on relatives at taxpayers' expense, I might add. Before they got to Venice, there was some what they called watertight security. The Italian police actually had to get police divers, and they went in the canals, everywhere the Obamas were going to be, in the canals of Venice, and they scoured the canals using flashlights and probes and whatnot to make sure that there weren't any devices, explosive devices or booby traps or whatever, in the water where the Obamas, Michelle and the kids and the grandmother and the mother and whoever else the taxpayers wanted to fit the bill to send over there. Well, at any rate, that's what they had to do to prepare for the Obamas' arrival. So it ended up being Michelle, the daughters, Sasha, Malia, her mom, and her grandma, or something like that, that went on this European vacation, so to speak, and spending all our taxpayer money. And meanwhile, while the ladies were busy spending all our money on their European tour, King Barack was off playing golf in Palm Beach. But at any rate, could you imagine having the nerve to make the Italian authorities do something like that? I don't know whether they were aware of it or not. And I'm sure that if Michelle was aware of it, she wouldn't have given two craps one way or the other. But it's just the gall of these people to think that they're just royalty, that they can just go anywhere, do anything, and people will cater to their every whim. Spend as much money, both the Italians and us, the U.S. taxpayers, spending on her security. It's absolutely insane. It's insulting is what it is. So the Michelle's culture tour, so to speak, of Italy and the UK is estimated to cost at least $547,000 to the taxpayers, And before it's all said and done with the advance team, the Secret Service, and all the other crap thrown in, it's going to be about $700,000 for a 6-day trip for these people. $700,000 for a 6-day trip. Just the 2 nights in Venice will cost us, taxpayers, almost $130,000 for 2 nights in Venice. That's insane. And $700,000 for a 6-day trip. That is just about $5,000 an hour that is costing us taxpayers to send Queen Michelle and her entourage over to Europe. Just the hotel accommodations are estimated to cost about $325,000 for 6 days and nights in Europe. It's just unbelievable. The Air Force C-31A or C-32A jet that they take costs over $11,000 an hour to operate, and it'll take about 20 hours of flight time. So you can do the math on that one, but it's insane. These people don't give a crap about anyone but themselves. They couldn't care less about the taxpayers or our country. Meanwhile, the king is headed off to Palm Springs for the weekend. That's in California, right? That's where they're having the global warming drought, is it not? Where Governor Moonbeam Jerry Brown is asking everybody to cut back and drink glasses of sand instead of water, to cut back on water usage and so on and so forth. And then Obama goes to these golf courses, and I guarantee you he's not putting on brown greens. I guarantee you these places are lush and green and well watered. And anybody that's this serious about global warming should be insulted by this and refuse to go there. But he couldn't give a flying fig one way or the other. I've heard estimates at this point for all their years in office at this point, the Obamas. It's cost, I've heard over, it's in the billions of dollars. It's at least $1.5 billion for just the trips and vacations and whatnot that we've provided to the king and queen and their entourage. It's just sick. It's just sick. And these people they deserve to go away. Just go away, and we don't want to hear from you again. And it can't be over fast enough. So on that happy note, this is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. Y'all have a great day.